Hello, fellow, or I shouldn't say fellow, anybody, women, men, who's trading cryptocurrencies. This is coinpicker.us, and that's about what I look like. Maybe I've given myself a little too much air, but I figured I'd put this up there. One of these days, I'm going to actually post myself or have me talking directly like one of those little screens. But I think the key is the presentation I'm doing. So that's where I'm going to go right now, and I'm going to talk about a project that is by no means new. Other people have discussed it. I'm not the earliest to jump on the bandwagon, but I do think that I'm identifying some features of it that are going to make it a purchase that works in an up or down market, just like Walton has. If anybody took my advice and bought Walton, you made over 50% on your money in a down market when nothing else was going up that much. Nothing was even close. Walton has made a new high. Walton is still a great buy. It took a little bit of a breather, but if anybody has jumped on my advice thus far, you've done very, very well. So I would encourage you to stay to the end of the video because I do have I have some other recommendations to make that I think are going to be also very powerful, even in a down market. All of my recommendations do not depend on the overall market going up. That's why I chose Walton. So let's talk about Bitshares, which is one of those, by the way, one of several that I've identified that has the possibility to move counter trend to the market significantly. It's still 50% below its high, which I believe I've got here. Yeah, I do. The chart. Let's pull up the chart, which I had earlier. Okay, so it's still well below its high, which is 87-ish, 88, and it's right now at 43. So it's almost exactly 50% below. Almost exactly. The reason I believe Bitshares is going to go up, first of all, it's got an extremely strong community. I do not like the max supply and circulating supply. It's high. However, the reason I make an exception for Bitshares is because of the utility of this project and what they're capable of doing. Couple of things. On a currency basis, their system is capable using a technology called graphene of over 100,000 transactions a second. Blows away virtually everything other than maybe Hshares. Riblox is perhaps in the region, but 100,000 transactions per second, which is way beyond what PayPal needs or Visa or anything like that. It is useful though because Bitshares does something else that's beautiful. It has its own trading network. And the shocking thing is there's actual trading volume. If you can believe it, there's actual trading volume here. Now, what is BitUSD? That's one of the wonderful aspects and completely necessary aspects that Bitshares is bringing. A stable if you want to call it, more or less stable currency so that we can trade, buy real things and sell real things, some of them with large values, for instance, a car, perhaps a house, perhaps even real estate, or it could be something in the $100 or $1,000 range. And we don't want, between the shipping times and escrow times, we don't want there to be a dramatic drop or for that matter, even a rise in the value of the cryptocurrency, because what that will do is change the dynamics of the marketplace significantly, make it much more challenging for buyers and sellers to come to terms on a contract. However, with BitUSD and OpenUSDT, what they're attempting to do is make stable currencies, stable in that they're tied to the dollar. And they do that by a dynamic mechanism where it converts to Bitshares and it's allocated a certain number of Bitshares based on dollar value. How it works is not quite as important as the fact that they've done it, and it seems to be applying. Now, BitBay is doing that also at some point, but it hasn't done it yet, and I don't think BitBay is quite as fleshed out, certainly not as attractive. The UI on BitBay is not that good. I'm a big fan of BitBay. I still own BitBay, but I'm also a big fan of Bitshares. I have not bought it yet. I will buy it. I'm about to buy it. So anybody there might be pumping up the price. Anybody watching might be buying it and pumping up the price for me, but I am going to be buying Bitshares. I'm a big fan of it. I'm also obviously a buyer of Walton. I've been holding it for a while. But here's what a couple of things that Bitshares can do. Actually, this may be a better version. Yeah, here we go. Okay, price stable currencies. I already said that. the ability for it to dynamically adjust and maintain a relatively stable price so that we can transact is a significant advantage that very few, if any, of the other projects have implemented correctly. Decentralized asset exchange, that's not particularly unique. However, their activation of it is because what they're doing is they are, for instance, you can have your own exchange for company shares, events, tickets, reward points, individual corporate debt, all of these. Crowdfunding is a big use. Digital properties, which could be any digital file. Could be a video, could be a article, could be a photograph, could be computer code, virtually anything. Privatized smart coins, privatized smart coins are the stable cryptocurrencies and information prediction markets, which are very popular now and effective, and how to profit by issuing an asset fee pools and things like that. Deposit receipts would be for regulatory requirements of know your customer, asset seizing, market restriction, which means which market you'd be allowed to serve. So apparently all this is baked in the cake. I have not used all of these features, but I have explored and I see that they have products out there. The exchange is apparently, if it's going to come up here, yes, apparently live and working with different transactions going through it. And the dashboard, so there is a reasonable volume moving through this exchange. So it's gaining adoption. That's why this has a business case, meaning they are already, they being the development team, are already in business. They already have products and they're already finding customers or people who are using and adapting it. I'm not suggesting it's a profitable business or a significant business, but I am suggesting that it is far more than vaporware. And that's why, one of the reasons why I'm positive on it. And it has utility beyond being simply a currency. It's a platform to launch other currencies. In fact, I'm going to be launching my own on Bitshares just to work with it, and I'll take everybody along for the ride. Bitshares is one of the ones that I'm going with in a big way. Let's take a look at their chart, or some of their charts. These are some of the indicators I happen to like. Okay, the EFI says that Bitshares has room to move forward. Right now, it's in a holding pattern. Buyers and sellers are basically equal at this point. MACD is suggesting that it's about to change trend. It is nowhere. It came out of an oversold, so it's nowhere near overbought, and it's got a strong uptrend in place on stochastic RSI. CCI says, is confirming the EFI that it's at an equilibrium point between buyers and sellers. However, the EMA is suggesting that buyers are beginning to take control, which is what I would say these are. The upward slope is suggesting that buyers are going to take control. I think Bitshares has a good range to move. Now, if anybody, one of the things I was going to tell you is early that I said I'll pick some other coins for you in the video. I created a video the other day for a nice gentleman who had requested I look into Lisk and Dragon Chain. And if you go back and watch that video and say and follow what I said was likely to happen with it, it's exactly what happened. That they were trending in a narrow range with a slight downward trend. They weren't likely to drop through the floor, but they were definitely not likely to go up. And if you look at what Lisk did from when that video posted until now, it's exactly what happened. So I've got a fairly strong record of being able to discern where shares are moving. That's why I am a personal buyer. I'm going to be buying Bitshares. I recommend that it's a very strong part of a portfolio. Now, getting to a portfolio, I want to talk about what I sent out here. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to log into my messaging account and show you really quickly here. Campaigns that I sent out, just sent it out, and I'm going to show you some of the coins that I just recently sent out. Okay, it's not showing it to me. Well, I will tell you from memory because it's not showing it to us. I'll tell you from memory. Basically, Bitshares was in there. Steem is looking very, very strong now. Steem is looking fantastic. Walton is on a pullback, and I would recommend buying it on a pullback. That's from me. I'm not giving anyone financial advice. I'm just saying to me, Walton is a fantastic buy, even on a pullback. Okay, Steem is not overextended, even though it's overextended on the EMA, but I think it was pulled down too far. But it's overextended on the EMA, so it could have a drop here. But when it does, and it is heading down on the CCI, so it's losing momentum. Stochastic RSI, it's nearing overbought, not overbought. MACD nearing overbought. Buyers are in control, but it's going to a trending area, meaning it doesn't look like it's going to drop through the floor, but buyers are pulling back somewhat. So what can we expect out of Steem? More upside slightly, but with a potential reversal ahead of it, a decent reversal. Either way, I'd say below 650-ish. Steem is a wonderful project for me, wonderful project to buy, and I think it will attain new highs. Bitshares will eventually attain new high, and from this point when it does, so it's, let's say 43 cents, you buy it in that range, or I'm going to be buying it in that range, it could go up to 80 or higher, because it has what the market is looking for. And it's got a very strong community, and it's socially doing very well. The other projects I talked about, obviously Walton. NEO is not doing very much right now. It's another one of the projects that I like. It's not doing very much right now, and it is undergoing somewhat of a reversal, although the MACD and the stochastic RSI are saying sort of different things. And it is, I would say it's losing momentum. I don't think it's in danger of a big rise right now. Walton has dropped a little bit too far too fast, so I think it will pop back up. Let's check out EOS very quickly. EOS is a bit too high on the MACRC. Buyers are still in control. It is overextended significantly on the EMA. I would suggest that you would probably want to hold for a pullback here. Litecoin is not behaving well, even though the news that it is about to get its own Visa card is out there. It is not behaving well. It is due for a re-meeting with the EMA, but buyers and sellers, it's actually more sellers in control still. It is reaching a relatively oversold. I would suggest that Litecoin has a bounce coming. That's what I think. Litecoin has a bounce coming, because the CCI in general is moving back up into a point where eventually it would get oversold, as it did up here, or overbought as it did up here, and then it followed it down to a drop. But right now, I would suggest that Litecoin has somewhat of a bounce coming. In fact, the whole market may have a bit of a bounce coming here, but I don't think it's a long-term bounce. I think it's a minor bounce. And some of the other coins that I like are Augur. Let's see if Augur shows up. Yeah, Augur Bitcoin right here. I'm not an expert on Augur, but I have liked its price action, and right now it's at a stable. It's not likely to rise a lot. Sellers or buyers are losing control slightly, sellers, but it's in a trending market. I don't think it's going to go up or down dramatically from here. If anything, it's probably got a slight downward bias right now, so I don't think you're in much danger there. And let's go to Stellar, which I am a holder of Stellar. I like Stellar a lot. Let's take a look at Stellar. Stellar is probably, well, I wouldn't say overbought. It's in a good trend, but it's it's in a decent trend, and it's moving counter trend. It's one of the reasons why Stellar is one of those to hold, almost like Walton, not nearly as strong as Walton. It hasn't created a new high at all, and this is on a daily basis. On a weekly basis, let's take a look at Stellar. I know that's a popular one. Way overextended on a weekly basis. Way overextended. In fact, I would say right now we are strongly downward biased for Stellar at this point. I mean, I would not be buying up here. I would suggest that we're probably going to get a pullback on Stellar on a weekly basis. On a daily basis, it's not quite as bad. So, but on a weekly basis, longer term basis. So, but Stellar is still very good. So Bitshares is relatively new one to take a look at. I know that Particle has gotten a lot of attention. I am not a major fan. Hshares is another one that is a very interesting, getting near-term project. It's not showing up, but I have included it in my list for a portfolio. And let's see here. Yeah, Hshares. Now, it's had a huge run up today, and the reason for that is that there's a roadshow going on, and it's pulling back from the run up. Good. But it had a high at 40. It dropped below it to 20. So it's recouping some of the losses. Let's do an analysis on investing.com. See if I can get it there. Nope. Let's do it here. I don't know if they have it because I want to run an analysis on Hshares because I think it could be a very significant buy, and it could add a lot of value to whose ever portfolio they jump on it. I would buy Bitshares before I would buy Hshares. I would buy Walton before I bought Hshares. But still, Hshares has shown, there we go, Hshare. Let's take a look at it, see what we've got going in that space. OKX, yeah, I can't even get on OKX. Okay, it's up significantly, obviously. Let's see what the technical chart looks like. It's in recovery mode, and they're out there actively selling it to a corporate audience with corporate funds. So let's take a look at the CCI, which almost nobody uses and I love. Let's take a look at the EFI, which absolutely nobody uses and I definitely like it. You know what, let's do Bollinger Bands, which I find useful as well. And of course we can't do anything without the moving average. Let's look at a moving average. I like EMAs. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got here now that we have all kinds of fancy. I didn't put Ichimoto on there. Not too far out of whack on the Bollinger Band. It still has an uptrend. CCI looks like it could be heading down here, which is actually the case. EFI sellers are beginning to take control, so it's trending down. All right, so we may get a pretty good opportunity on Hshares here in a little bit to buy in a little lower, but I wouldn't go too crazy with that because the general trend is up for it. I don't think we're going to see a dramatic sell-off in Hshares. That's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a return to mean here, and I'm seeing a return to just an even trend. Like it may treat this as a level, a new base, which is what it actually looks like it's doing. New level around 1600-ish. So Hshares is on my list. Bitshares is on my list. Walton obviously has been on my list for a long time. Steem has been on my list for a long time. Pearl's another one, but it's not behaving anywhere near as well. So that should be a good portfolio for no matter what happens in the market, you would have had a significantly positive return. Even though Steem and Stellar took a hit, Walton would have launched you 50% higher. So everybody else would have lost 30, 40% or more. And this portfolio is probably up 10 to 15%, if not higher. I piled completely into Walton, so I was up 30, 40%. I had a few other holdings as well. All right, this is coinpicker.us. Let me remind everybody, just go to coinpicker.us and sign up for my morning, well, every day, sometimes this morning, a little later. I provide an analysis, a quick short-term, near-term, and then the trading portfolio for the day, and also long-term trades. And of course, you can use my price trend indicators that are custom coded that have been very effective. I just want to see if there's any basic attention token is great up there. A lot of really, really good coins, Mona to give. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and sign up here by clicking on this and fill it out, and you'll get my daily emails. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to keep doing the YouTube videos. We'll see. But if you have any coins that you want me to analyze, send a comment below. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. Also hit for notifications just so you make sure you find out when I post my videos, because sometimes I do rapid update videos on a great opportunity. Thanks again, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow.